we are hours away from our rally hosting President Trump in Glendale, Arizona. And they say there's going to be a special guest. RFK is also in town. There is no confirmation that I have whatsoever whether or not he's endorsing or being there. But reasonable people can assume and can suspect that there might be an alliance being formed here. And the alliance makes perfect sense. RFK is an old traditional liberal. I disagree with RFK on a lot of stuff. Not worth the time. I agree with RFK on a lot of stuff. RFK loves the country. RFK knows the power of the administrative state, killed his father, and likely killed his uncle. Well, killed his uncle and definitely killed his uncle and likely killed his father. He knows that the CIA, the intelligence agencies, the Department of Justice are completely out of control. RFK was legitimately a beacon of truth during COVID. His book on Anthony Fauci is phenomenal. I learned a lot from him about how big pharma is exempt from liability for vaccines. I've learned a lot about him, about the declining health of the West. He's been a crusader. He was very polite when he came on my show. He was a terrific sport, saved thousands of lives, minimum. RFK has a decision to make, whether or not to combine forces with Donald Trump, and it's a no-brainer. Kamala Harris and Team Blue are against everything he believes in. They are not for democracy. They're not for free speech. They've done everything they can to shut down his candidacy and to bully him and intimidate him and smear him and slander him. And so maybe we should combine forces. 90% of our audience is enthusiastic and supportive of this. So first, let's go to a young patriot on the ground waiting to get into line at our event. He is a Kennedy supporter. This young man is all in for RFK for president. Listen to what he has to say of what an RFK endorsement of Donald Trump would mean for him. Play cut 214.
Caesar, also a young American voter. You can see he's got the vote Kennedy Shanahan. And you know what? There are rumors that potentially Kennedy could come out and endorse Donald Trump today. Now, if that is the case, would you then change your vote from Kennedy to Trump?
Yes, I think anything that we can do to get Kennedy in a higher position is worth it. I believe any decision that Kennedy makes, it comes from an enlightened place. So he has my full confidence and support in anything he decides to do.
We welcome this young man into our movement. He's a freedom lover. He loves liberty. According to the Deseret Harris X poll, in a three-way race, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, RFK, it goes as following in a national poll. Kamala Harris gets 46% of the vote. Donald Trump gets 44% of the vote. RFK gets 9% of the vote. However, if RFK drops out, Trump gains massive ground and becomes the leader of the race at 51% and Kamala Harris at 49%. And this makes perfect sense. There are two different categories of political worldviews right now: high trust of institutions and low trust of institutions. At the DNC, they are full of high trust of institution voters. The vaccine is perfectly safe. The FDA would never lie. The Department of Justice is sterling clean. It's a good thing we're sending money to Ukraine. It was okay to lock down schools. Whatever the powerful people tell us, I will believe. At the DNC, they are high trust of institutions. By the way, Republicans used to be this way 20 years ago. They are high trust. They don't ask questions. They're not skeptical of power. They love political power. So they are inherently high trust voters. On the other side, you have Donald Trump, where the entire movement of Donald Trump is inherently low trust of institution voter. Why is our border not open? Why are we doing all these wars? What's going on with the economy? They're lying about jobs data. They're lying about inflation. They lied about COVID. RFK is even further low trust of institutions than Donald Trump. He is the most low trust of institutions candidate currently running. He's the one that said everything that the health agencies are telling you, that they are captured agencies, that the current configuration of how we are doing vaccines is completely wrong. So RFK and Donald Trump have a natural partnership being made because they're both skeptical of the major power centers in this country. And I think they'll have an affinity with one another. They have the same enemies. They both want a strong America. And they both view the world in a very similar fashion, which is that the powerful, the rich, and the well-connected need a check and balance. And both of them want to see a citizen resurgence and a citizen revival of this country, not an oligarchy, which is what Team Blue and Kamala Harris currently believes in.